and welcome to another Bottle episode. Don't mind the mismatched pause, I couldn't find the other ones. You've read the title of the video. Today is all about Extreme Fursuiters, a showcase of absolute next level fursuiters who are like, hey, you know how wearing a fursuit does that thing where it like limits your vision and your dexterity and all your other senses? Well, I'm gonna do this insanely hard thing that is made 10 times harder by wearing a fursuit because I can. I hope that you are ready to have your mind blown by these 11 extremely skilled individuals. Now, I do have to say it, please do not try anything you're about to see at home. These suitors are experienced in what they're doing, and even then, there is always still a risk. Let them take the risk for you. Don't do it yourself without the proper training. Alrighty, starting with a fursuiter who has been doing fursuit stunts for a very long time now, and there is no way I can make a video like this without mentioning them. I give you Sardyuon. Sardyuon is a Japanese fursuiter who has performed at conventions all over the world, such as Anthrocon, Eurofurence, and Thae Tales. His performances are straight out of a circus and involve multiple acts such as juggling balls, juggling rings, diabolo tricks, and most famously, stacking chairs on top of each other and then doing a handstand on top of them. As you do. I doubt I need to explain just how difficult this is. Like, how do you juggle with fursuit vision? And like, how do you do a handstand without slipping on your hand paws? It is a dream of mine to see one of his performances live someday, so if you ever get the opportunity, do not miss out and go check him out. Next is a suitor that I swear I didn't just put in the video because he's blue. It's the DJing dog, Rahne. Our fandom sports a huge array of extremely talented DJs, many who do it in fursuit as well. But Rahne always stood out to me because the absolute maniac keeps his hand paws on. They're not super form-fitting hand paws either, like, those are some beans. So to be able to hit all those like itty-bitty little sliders and knobs and things on his DJ deck and like, let alone even see them in fursuit vision and still pop out absolute banger tracks is incredible. He live streams his sets on Twitch as well, so do go check him out sometime. Moving on though. Fursuit makers will generally do a whole lot of tests to ensure the quality of their suits, but I don't think a lot of them are expecting their suits to be able to survive hurricanes. And that's where we've got Patches. Partnered with the Mount Washington Weather Observatory to see how things would go if he took his Skyfire suit all the way up to the top of the mountain and fursuited in hurricane force winds. Just to sort of put that into perspective, the winds were blowing at about 60 miles per hour that day. And here's a video of Tom Scott in a wind tunnel at that same setting.
We're up to 60 miles an hour. My mouth's dry, I've lost a contact lens, and I'm having a little bit of trouble thinking.
Definitely not a wind speed you want to be messing around with. So the fact that Patches came out of that so well is a solid testament to Skypro's quality. I would have expected at least like the eyes to cave in or something, but no, it's all good. And while Patches did get pretty soaked, apparently if you go down to about 5,000 feet on the mountain, the weather is fast and dry enough to be a blow dryer. Definitely not going to be overheating when you go fursuiting on Mount Washington. Our next extreme fursuiter is one gnarly board shredder. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna stop trying that.
How do you do, fellow kids?
It's StuCat. I feel like the vision impairment from the fursuit head would make skateboarding way too disorienting to do anything more than just like rolling along, but StuCat does that and beyond. I might not know much about the skateboarding world, but I know enough to see that there are some serious skills going on here. I especially love this stationary flip. Just like, hey, So that gravity thing, yeah, I don't believe in it. It's gonna whoop. Be sure to check out StuCat's links in the description because he's also an extremely skilled artist. A very rad cat, highly recommend. Continuing on from the sports theme, our next fursuiter really likes the wind through his fur at a bajillion miles per hour at negative bajillion degrees. It's Strongbob. Strongbob is a passionate fursuiter and an experienced skier and biker. Normally, you would never ever do either of these things with a fursuit head on because the lack of vision can be quite dangerous and it's not going to save you from any high impacts. So that's why Strongbob developed his very own fursuit helmet hybrid called the Fur Helmet. A 3D printed snout built onto an actual helmet and then furred to be a fursuit head, all complete with a moving jaw and goggles instead of eyes. So you get all the safety and vision of wearing an actual helmet, but with the aesthetics of a fursuit head. It's brilliant. I cannot wait to see what other adventures Strongbob gets up to while wearing it. Let's jump to another fursuiter who has been doing what they do for a very long time. In fact, they were a furry YouTuber before it was cool. It's the purple and blue thrill-seeking wolf from Germany, Keenora. Let's list just a few things that Keenora has done in fursuit. They've done some bungee jumping. They were an aerobatics passenger. They did some bungee jumping, paragliding. Oh, and they also did some bungee jumping and some skydiving and some bungee jumping. They walked down a building and they also did the world's highest bungee jump. His skydiving is something that has just always stuck in my brain. Like, how is your head not just flying off? And you gotta love how it looks like the suit is just going, ah! I think it's absolutely incredible just how many opportunities Keenora has had. Like, it would take a lot of negotiating to get some of those places to allow you to wear a suit. Keenora is an absolute mad lad who is definitely not stopping anytime soon, so go check out his YouTube channel sometime. I have no idea how he's gonna top what he's already done, but I cannot wait to see what he gets up to next. Let's turn things down a notch and move on to a suitor who does something a bit more chill, but still requires a lot of dexterity and technical skill to be able to pull off in fursuit. It's Buttercup. Started their own show on YouTube called Bake Me Up Buttercup about a year or so ago, and it's been one of my favorite furry channels ever since. Well, you might think, oh, it's just baking. You gotta remember that fursuit paws will make your hands super poofy and gripless, and their suit has realistic eyes, so the only way they can see is through those itty bitty little tear ducts. That's enough to make any task difficult, let alone baking, let alone really good baking. I would really love to try and recreate one of her recipes in suit and inevitably fail epically, just to get across how difficult it is what she's doing. Absolutely amazing stuff, and her channel definitely deserves a lot more love, so please do go check her out sometime. When it comes to fursuiting, the difficulty level rises depending on the type of fursuit you have. Plantigrade, not too bad. Digigrade, alright, yep, things are getting a bit more difficult now. Plush suit? Don't even bother. Even walking is a marathon of effort. Our next suitor went, nah, I'm gonna play DDR in a plush suit. It's Ursa Major. The wearer is the fursuit maker of Myrtle's Monsters, and they made Ursa Major themselves. It's a gorgeous suit, but a plush suit nonetheless, so even attempting DDR while wearing it is absolutely insane. They managed to get a minute or so in before understandably overheating, but man, I am getting sweaty just watching this. The heat and the weight, just why? Like, even the vision, like, how are you seeing the screen and knowing where your feet are? Either way, this video blows my mind. Hats off to Myrtle. Now, I'm pretty sure everyone here has heard of parkour before. Extremely skillful navigation of environments that involve a lot of stuff like jumps, flips, climbing, precise footwork, all that jazz. Really, really hard stuff. Well, how about doing it in a full digigrade fursuit of a kangaroo shark hybrid with an extremely long tail? Nope, sound too hard? Well, meet Thae. Yeah, I'm left pretty speechless by this one. You took one of the hardest physical activities with one of the least practical fursuits and still killed it. The tail is what especially gets me. Like, it's a lot larger and longer than what a lot of fursuits would have, and it would really throw off your center of gravity. But no, even with all the extra weight and limitations, he still can do a perfect stationary double kick. Very, very fitting of a sharkaroo. Thae is freaking awesome. Our next suitor is one that I've actually featured in a video before for being super adorable. However, I didn't know he had more tricks up his sleeve. So say hello again to Luka Cabot. Luka has a long history of playing hockey, so he feels absolutely at home on a pair of rollerblades, which you can definitely see in these amazing videos shot by Tails Tiger Fox. Luka moves so naturally, it's mesmerizing. And thanks to Thunderhowl's heads having pretty solid vision, he doesn't have to worry about running into anything unexpected. Lots of skill, lots of cute, what's not to love? The final extreme fursuiter for today is one that I've been able to witness with my very own eyes. And let me just say, watching a full digigrade fursuit suddenly just take flight into a backflip has me questioning whether or not gravity is real. It's the flipping Aussie Fox himself, Bolty. Bolty does what is called tricking. It's basically a cross between gymnastics and martial arts. Just by looking at it, I doubt I need to tell you the amount of strength and dexterity needed to be able to do this sort of thing. Again, I am just left speechless. Like, just look at him go! Look at him just deny gravity right in our faces! On a more serious note, a few years ago, Bolty suffered from a disease known as Guillain-Barré syndrome, or GBS. This is a disease that attacks your nerves and shuts them down. If it's left long enough, it can get to your lungs and you'll need a machine to be able to just breathe. Bolty had been mysteriously having a numbing feeling in his legs, and when it suddenly got to the point where he couldn't walk without losing balance, he was rushed to the hospital. He was extremely lucky to be able to catch it so early, because any longer and he might have had to say goodbye to his tricking days. It was not an easy journey, but he ended up making quite the miraculous recovery. So if you want to see the full story on that, check out the video he made. It's really interesting. I highly recommend it. Nowadays, he's pretty much back to his usual flippy foxy self. Bolty is definitely one of the strongest, most epic foxes around. And that there is our 11 extreme fursuiters. I hope you enjoyed, and make sure to leave me a comment. Like, maybe there was someone who you think should have been in this video but wasn't. Thank you so very much for watching. I super duper 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 appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay awesome. See you then. Bye! This month's anniversary shoutouts go to Erasia, who has been here for 3 years. Thank you so much. Then for 2 years, we've got Steamworks, Akinolina Twilight, Blue Foxdog, Hunter Woolstone, Ro Foxeye, 8-Track, and Frey the Dutchie. Then for 1 year, we've got Skelly Welly, Sparkazil Lefsa, Ash Coyote, Danny Fly, and Blue Fleet. Thank you guys so much for so much support.